Hello, and welcome back to Live from Knowhere, your podcast for all things Marvel and cinema. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Joe.
And today is a very special day. It is not only our very first bonus episode, but today is the worldwide premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. And that is what this episode will be about. So, Joe, do you kind of want to go over kind of the format of this bonus episode?
Yes, so we are doing this in two parts. So the first part is what we're recording right now. We have, what time is it? So we have about 2 hours before we go and see Deadpool and Wolverine. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into some predictions that we have. We each have a couple predictions that we're going to talk about, 5. We'll dive kind of deep into one each, and then we'll do some rapid fire, just cameo predictions, and that'll wrap up the part 1 of this. Yep. Then, after we get back from the movie theater, we're going to sit right back down and discuss a little bit about what we thought about the movie. We will discuss kind of the post-credit scenes and the implications of the movie, and whether or not it lived up to our expectations and where it would rank among the MCU movies for us. Yep. So, without further ado, we're going to kind of get into it. So, Marvel Studios got Deadpool and Wolverine rights in that Fox deal back in 2019. And there was a lot of hype with that initial Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman announcement video because we hadn't seen Hugh Jackman since 2017's Logan. And I think if you've seen that movie, it was reasonable to expect that he was done. That was his retirement. And Marvel kind of... I think a lot of people suspected wanted to lay off of that. But nevertheless, we are here. Hugh Jackman is back. Ryan Reynolds is back. And so I just want to talk a little bit to start off of, like, where would you say your excitement level is for this movie?
The movie I keep going back to is No Way Home. That was the last time I felt like this huge... Like, this is going to be an experience because, you know, they've been... When Marvel has a strategy for their marketing, the way that they do, in terms of it being so unique and showing only specific scenes like they have, and now today they put out the no spoiler warning, like, don't spoil this for anybody. Something big is going to happen. So I don't want to get too hyped because I don't want it to, like... not land where I want it to, but I am extremely excited. I don't know what's going to happen in this movie. I'm excited to see them both on the big screen together, and I'm just a huge X-Men fan, so yeah, my excitement's through the roof.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that I'm probably up there with... This is probably the most hyped I've been for a Marvel movie since Endgame. And I think the reason... is just because of the unknown of it, but it's also like these are characters we didn't have access to before. Yeah. And this movie really has me in a chokehold. Like, when we went to Jack in the Box, they had Deadpool stuff there. They had Deadpool chicken and waffles, and I bought it, although I already gotten other food. And we were saying, like, in San Diego, there is a Jack in the Box that the outside of it is completely redecorated, and it's Deadpool and Wolverine themed. I'm sure that was for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But like they're changing the buildings. I play Marvel Snapped. That whole thing is Deadpool and Wolverine themed. Fortnite has Deadpool and Wolverine stuff. Like, they went heavy on the marketing. Yeah. And it's pulled me in, and I'm really, really excited. So... I would say, honestly, I'm at a 10 out of 10 on hype for this movie. I'm super excited. I've been thinking about it all week. And so, let's get into our theories. Okay. So, I think first, we can maybe popcorn through the theories that we are not going to discuss. Okay. And then you can share your main theory, I'll share my main theory, and let's get into it. So, how about you start first with one of your theories?
Okay, so... This is, my first theory is kind of me piecing together what we've been seeing and something that I think would just be really cool, and I don't think it's out of the picture because there's many ways that they can do this, and I think we're going to get a Loki sighting. I don't know if this is the Loki from the Loki seasons. I don't know what time or universe this Loki is going to come from, but there's so much TVA. There seems to be heavy TVA implications and heavy multiverse going on. So I think we get a Loki sighting.
Agreed, actually. And mine's also a TVA themed theory.
Okay.
So Mr. Paradox, he is the TVA agent that we've seen most with Loki. I think he's going to be leading a rogue faction of TVA agents that don't agree with B-15 and OB's new direction of the TVA. I think they're still trying to do it in kind of the old way, and so that's why they bring Deadpool in to help. And it's going to be similar to Loki. But yeah, I think rogue TVA faction is what we're seeing. We're not seeing the main TVA.
Okay, that's I can buy into that. My second theory is this one leans a lot more into want, and I think we're gonna get an Evan Peters Quicksilver cameo. This is me just wanting to see Evan Peters back, and kind of trying to clean up what happened in WandaVision. Because
that's such an easy thing to make fun of, too.
It is very easy to make fun of. I want them to clean it up and start to solidify, like, okay, we do want to do something with this Quicksilver, and yeah, I would just really love to see him back. I have zero evidence on it. I just want to see him back.
I unfortunately think that if they do bring him back, they might bring him back and build him up to being like about to run as a speedster, and then they just pull Ralph Boner again.
No way. I think I'd be legitimately mad.
But that's a good one. My next one is Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will switch roles.
That'd be fun.
What I mean by this is I think there may be a universe that they come across, or some variants that they come across, where Ryan Reynolds plays Wolverine and Hugh Jackman plays Deadpool.
That'd be funny.
I think it would be really funny. Also, with Hugh Jackman kind of playing a more gruff, really just kind of angry Wolverine. I think it'd be really funny to see him switch up in one universe and just be like the comedic relief and be Deadpool.
That would be amazing.
I don't know if they'll do it. Maybe the comedic Hugh Jackman that we'll get will be whenever they make an allusion to The Greatest Showman. But I think it would be really fun to see, and I think it would be a pretty iconic moment if they do it.
For sure. And before I get to my next one, you kind of remind me of one theory, not a theory, but so much a meme, just real quick, that I saw. You know that meme where Wolverine's laying in the bed with the picture?
Oh, yeah.
And the picture is usually whatever the person wants it to be. The one in the bed is Deadpool and the picture is Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
So recreate that meme somehow. That'd be pretty cool. But
I could actually see that meme being done where it's Deadpool in the pool, or Deadpool in the bed, and he's holding a picture of Hugh Jackman from The Greatest Showman.
That would awesome.
I could see them. That's how they play that Greatest Showman. I'm really interested to see how they play that bit.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I hope it's bigger than just the song though. Like I hope P.T. Barnum's actually in the movie for a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna get pretty wild.
It's gonna get weird.
My next theory is also, I'm not going heavy off evidence. It's a possibility, but I would like to see it. I want to see Michael Fassbender back as Magneto. No evidence there. The only evidence I have is I expect some X-Men to be in this. I don't know to what degree or how long, but getting Michael Fassbender back as Magneto would be excellent. I just hope they don't butcher it.
Yeah. So my next one is that we will return to the Battle of Earth.
Ooh.
So obviously a huge moment in the MCU.
Please.
And you would think that they don't want to touch it because of how iconic it is. But this is Deadpool, and I don't think anything is sacred to him. So I could really see them going back to the Battle of Earth. At first I thought it was when they portaled, but now knowing that Cassandra Nova has a sling ring, I think that's gonna be related to them. But I could see them coming in at like the pivotal, moments, either Avengers Assemble or even I Am Iron Man. Like in one of the trailers, Deadpool says that he's Marvel Jesus. It could be Deadpool snapping, and instead of saying I am Iron Man, he said I am Marvel Jesus. I could see them playing where they go back to the Battle of Earth, and Deadpool is just kind of taking all these iconic moments from these heroes and replacing them, trying to wield Mjolnir, trying to snap, trying to do all this other stuff. So.
Oh, great comedy. My thing for this movie is matching comedy with like a good drama piece, and not invalidating things that came before it, I guess. And so like that scene, I can totally see Deadpool going in and maybe not even recreating the moments, but like being in the Battle of Earth. But the battlefield was so huge.
Yeah.
He could be somewhere else and doing his own thing and not really affecting anything, and then he gets pulled out or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My last...
We could get some... Sorry, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
We could get some great Avengers cameos from that too, because I know there's a lot of theories about other cameos that are happening, but I think the thing that a lot of people are forgetting is that we still have the main MCU Avengers. Like, who are they going to come across? Because maybe they do come across an Avenger. And I think
there's still quite a few... There's a lot of Avengers still
yeah.
left in us, so... my last one, it's a little bit minor, but I have a theory that Wolverine is going to watch himself die in Logan, like how Loki watched himself die in Infinity War. So not much to that. I think it would be a really impactful scene and a great callback. So
yeah. And then my last one before I dive into my main one is that we will be introduced to 2 to 3 MCU X-Men that will be like part of the Mutant Saga, part of the MCU's X-Men team. But one of those 2 to 3 will be X-23 staying on Earth or in Earth 616 as the main Wolverine. So she doesn't have to compete with Hugh Jackman.
Solid.
But I think 2 to 3 X-Men with her staying as one of the 3.
I think that's a good segue. I think a lot of people really like her.
Yeah. So now we can get into our main theories, starting with yours.
Okay. Mine, I do have a little bit of evidence, and it's the thing I want the most, and I think it will happen. I think we get a Hulk versus Wolverine fight in this. I don't know which Hulk we're going to be getting. I really hope it's Mark Ruffalo's
I think it
Hulk.
would be. If anything, I'm also... Spoiler, I'm on Brendan's side on this one. I do think it's going to happen. I think it would be the Mark Ruffalo one.
But which version of him?
I think it's going to be like 2012 Mark Ruffalo. Not Professor Hulk.
Yeah.
If they do a Hulk versus Wolverine fight, they are doing Hulk versus Wolverine, I think.
Yeah. My evidence, I have a video of it on our page, but there's the scene where, people have been waiting for this fight. They're referencing Wolverine versus Sabretooth, the original Sabretooth from the 2000 films. But I don't think... I mean, you can't see his mouth anyway, but I don't think the lines match up for the scene. I think they're talking about Wolverine facing off versus Hulk, which has been a fight that's a big part of the Marvel Comics. That it's a really big deal, and I think people would go nuts for that type of a scene. I just hope it's not like short-lived and it's like portaled out. I hope they do it justice. So that's my big theory, is we get a full-on Hulk versus Wolverine fight. Yeah,
I'm a little worried. So I do think it will be Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. But there is so much rumored to be going around in this movie that I am a little worried that it's going to be like a quick fight. Like, if he actually does still fight Sabretooth, he has fights against TVA agents. They have then this Hulk fight. They have everything with Cassandra Nova.
This is only the first 40 minutes or whatever of the movie.
So they have all this. How are they going to fit it into not only the first 40 minutes, but the runtime of this movie
how long?
is short.
That also makes me nervous.
So I am a little worried that if Hulk comes into this movie, that it's going to be a short-lived fight. And I honestly think like a 2 to 3 minute fight is what people want, which maybe sounds like not a lot, but in the grand scheme of this movie with the runtime it has, that's a lot dedicated to one fight.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but I do agree. I think Hulk versus Wolverine is coming, and I do think that those lines are going to be there because it just sounds so weird. Like, the audio changes. Yeah. It's not just like it doesn't match up. The audio changes in that preview, so.
Yeah, it's just off.
So my theory is about Wolverine himself. I think that the main Wolverine that we see in this movie is Old Man Logan. So I think what most people think about when they think of Old Man Logan is Hugh Jackman in the Logan movie.
Yeah.
And I would argue that is Logan, who is an old man, not Old Man Logan. Not Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because the comic book storyline of Old Man Logan, he is this way because he killed all the X-Men. So if you're not familiar, what happens in this is that Mysterio tricks Wolverine into believing that the X-Men are villains and attacking him. And so Logan retaliates and kills all the X-Men. And then he becomes emotionally scarred. He swears off of being a hero, doesn't use his claws, doesn't take on the Wolverine persona anymore. And it allows the villains to really take over. I think the Logan that we're in, that is the universe. And that's his backstory, is that he killed the X-Men. And that's why he, at the bar says he's not that guy. I'm not that Wolverine. I'm not a hero. You have the wrong guy. He's constantly putting himself down. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because he killed all the X-Men. But I think where his suit comes in is that his team always wanted him to wear that suit. And he always swore off of it. And he had given up his hero persona. But now that he's picking it back up with Deadpool, he's wearing the suit as an honor to the people who he feels like he did the worst thing possible to. Yeah. And so him wearing that yellow suit is honoring them as he takes upon his hero persona again. And I think the way we kind of get to this Wolverine is very simple. Deadpool is going to be doing his TVA stuff. He's probably going to have to prune that timeline. And he shows up, he sees Wolverine, and then it's just going to be he loves Wolverine so much he can't prune Wolverine. Yeah. So he defends him, and I think that's where we're going. But I think that
it's a great theory.
This Logan is going to be a Logan that had killed all of the X-Men in his universe.
Great theory. Yeah, I can get behind that.
So those are our main theories. Some of this next bit is just going to be cameo predictions. Yeah. And some of them are going to be repeats because Hulk's in here. Mm-hmm. We both said we think Hulk's going to show up, but we'll still do it just so we can have a scorecard. Yeah. So let's get into it. We have, I think, 21 or 22 of these.
So we're just doing yes, no, or?
Yes, no, if you want a little explanation, but these are going to be rapid fire. Chris Evans as Human Torch or Captain America?
I say no.
I say yes. Specifically, I think he's showing up as the Human Torch. Okay. I do want to give a little evidence for this, because I recently rewatched all the trailers. Captain America is a focus in the trailers. He salutes Captain America. So this is how I think they're going to play it. Chris Evans is going to show up, and Deadpool's going to be freaking out about meeting Captain America, and maybe they're going to get ready to fight somebody or something, and he's I'm going to fight alongside Captain America, and then Captain America lights on fire, and he it's flame
so
on.
Cool. It's but then why would it be? So he doesn't have the suit. He doesn't have the Captain America suit.
No, he just
he's just kind of Rogers.
Yeah, he looks like Steve Rogers. So Deadpool thinks, Captain America's here. Captain America's here, and then as soon as they're about to fight, it's him as Johnny Storm.
That would mean that every one of the websites that was saying, these are the movies you need to watch. You need to watch Deadpool 1, 2. You have to watch the X-Men movies, First Class, yada, yada. And nobody ever mentioned Fantastic Four. So all those websites are going to be very wrong.
Okay, so I am a yes on Human Torch, no on Cap. I guess you get...
I'm just no.
Yes on Cap as the cameo, because we saw him in the trailer, but...
I just say no Chris Evans at all.
Chris Evans is Human Torch, yes. You got no. Taylor Swift as Dazzler.
No.
No, I don't think Taylor Swift... I think if she was going to be in this movie...
She didn't have a song.
She would have been credited for a song. And she doesn't have a song.
Yeah, so. I don't think she's in it. I know that's a popular one, but I don't think so.
This one's going to be quick. Hulk.
Yes.
Yes, I think Mark Ruffalo. Do you think Mark Ruffalo?
I think so, too. I don't know who else they would include.
Yeah. It's either Mark Ruffalo or 2000...
if they bring in Ed Norton's...
I don't think it'll be Ed Norton. I think your options are either the 2003 Hulk or...
2003 would be so weird.
Or Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. It's definitely going to be Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, because I don't think they want to open up the Ed Norton thing.
Yeah, I'll do Ruffalo's Hulk.
Which one, though?
2012 Avengers.
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Okay, Henry Cavill as Wolverine or Cyclops?
No. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes as Wolverine. I know it's a very popular fan cast. I think they're going to John Krasinski him.
I don't want the John Krasinski thing. That's why I'm saying no.
I think they're going to John Krasinski him. I think he's going to be there and he's gonna die to Cassandra Nova, but he is gonna be there as Wolverine.
Also, I want Henry Cavill to be a real piece in MCU, so I don't want him to just be thrown away like that.
So I think Henry Cavill as Wolverine, yes, and he's gonna probably get John Krasinski. Cable and Domino. So for reference, why they're on here? Of course, they're in Deadpool 2, but in the birthday party scene, they weren't in there. So
John Krasinski as who?
No, Cable and Domino.
Oh. I'm gonna say yes. Because it seems that a lot of the Deadpool characters are going to be here.
I'm going to say yes. I don't know why they're not in the birthday scene. Maybe they're just framed out of it, but I would say yes, or else it's going to be kind of weird. James Marsden as Cyclops.
I'm going to say yes.
I don't think so.
I'm going to say yes on this.
I don't think Cyclops is going to be in this movie at all. I don't think any Cyclops.
Okay, I say yes.
Blake Lively as Lady Deadpool.
Yes.
I also say yes. I was on the train of Ryan Reynolds in a wig. But he did come out and say that it's not him, which he could be lying about, but that's such an inconsequential thing to lie about that I'm on the Blake Lively train now. Ben Affleck is Daredevil.
I never watched the Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
I didn't either. I just know it's a popular guy to bring back.
I'm going to say no.
I'm also going to say no. There's a character that we're going to talk about a little bit later that got spotted on set. That is closely related to Deadpool, so I'll say no. Channing Tatum as Gambit.
No. I'm going to say no.
So
I'm saying no because I don't want it.
I'm also going to say no. My only defense is this. I don't know how good of friends Channing Tatum and Ryan Reynolds are. But those seem like people that may be friends. If I would have done my research and seen that they were friends, I would say yes. Because I know this is like Channing Tatum's dream. He's been preparing for this role forever, and he's really wanted to make this happen.
I can see him playing it, but I'm still going to just...
But I do think that dream is dead, and so I'm going to say no.
Okay.
All right, Andrew Garfield is Spider-Man.
No, I don't think any Spider-Man makes an appearance.
I'm on the same boat. I say no. I know this is another popular one, but I think been there, done that. There's no real benefit.
I think you don't want to take too much. It's still Deadpool and Wolverine. It's still their movie. I don't think you want to take too much away from them.
Yeah, I think if anything, Andrew Garfield's going to show up again as Spider-Man in a Sonyverse movie. I don't think this one. I think the Spider-Man variants are done in the MCU. So this next one will be pretty quick. Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man.
No.
Also no.
No.
X-Men Origins, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes, I think they're going to do it. I'm going to say... I'm going to actually say no, because I felt like they already kind of dealt with that. It might be weird to deal with it again.
So I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
For the same reason, actually, that they've already dealt with it. And I think they're going to double down. And I did see a theory online that I kind of like. So Headpool is in this movie. And Headpool is just Deadpool's head that floats.
Okay.
So I did see a theory that maybe the X-Men Origins Deadpool could be Headpool. And like, because he was decapitated and left him there. And so he's zombified.
And he came back alive.
As Headpool.
Or his
I do like that theory.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's possible that they just go back to Deadpool and Wolverine from X-Men Origins and kill them again because of how bad it was. But also that's where the friendship of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman started, because that's where they met, I believe. So I think it would be a good kind of all-around story.
Yeah.
So I think yes, and then I think they might kill them again.
Yeah, I can see it.
Loki as the god of stories.
Yes.
I will say yes. There's a moment in the trailers where Cassandra Nova spaghettifies the TVA, and I think in order to do that, you have to get rid of Loki.
Yeah.
Or do something.
I can see him showing up, though.
Yeah, you have to inhibit him somehow, so I think, yes, he has to be in it. Evan Peters as Quicksilver, your theory.
Yep. Yeah, I think so.
I'm saying no. I don't think they're going to do it.
That's fair.
I think they fumbled too bad that
I just want it so bad.
They're going to stay away from it. Michael Fassbender as Magneto.
Yes.
No, I don't think they will. I think...
Again, I need it. I need it.
This next one will explain a little bit why I don't think they're going to touch Magneto in this one. So James McAvoy or Sir Patrick Stewart as Xavier?
Yes. And I think I lean more McAvoy.
Yes, and I'm going to say Sir Patrick Stewart.
Oh, okay, we disagree.
I think they're just going to bring him back.
I think they want to start. I don't know. I mean, I think they want to lean younger. So I say McAvoy.
I think they've already done it. They're going to bring it back. He took Cerebro last time in Deadpool 2. He touched Cerebro. Maybe they could do a callback to that. I think it's going to be Sir Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
Wesley Snipes as Blade.
Again, I never saw that one. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes. I have no evidence for this other than I know it was heavily rumored. And there were some people pointing out a person in the Cassandra Nova kind of entrance scene out of Giant Man's head that somebody over there looked like they could have been Wesley Snipes' Blade. That's my only evidence for it, so I'm going to say yes. Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider.
No. I don't think they liked Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. I think that's part of like the early 2000s like superhero movies figuring out their footing. I say no.
I'm also going to say no, but I want it to be a yes.
Okay.
Because I think it would be great. But I do think Nicolas Cage already did the Superman thing, and he did not enjoy his cameo in The Flash.
Oh, so I did not see that.
So I think that he might not do it again because Nicolas Cage playing Superman in The Flash was received so poorly by him that he will never touch Marvel or another superhero movie. David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
No. I have not heard anything on that.
I've heard nothing. I'm going to say yes solely because I
Where
want
that
to
came
have it.
from.
Just because I think it would be so funny to call back to the original Nick Fury. And
My guess in being white?
yes, I mean, David Hasselhoff played Nick Fury.
Yeah.
So,
But like Nick Fury in the comics is white.
yes.
I thought that's what you meant.
Yes, but I do. So the reason I think this might work is because then you make a joke about him being white. Then again, this is still Disney, and I don't know if they want to make a race swap joke.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see that. Maybe Fox, but...
Yeah, but I'm just going to say yes because I want it to happen, and I think it would be funny.
Okay.
And our last one, Jennifer Garner as Elektra.
I have no basis on this. I'm just going to say yes. Coin flip, yes.
I'm also going to say yes. I do have a little bit more of a basis of there were some alleged set photos of her on set as Elektra. So I'm going to say yes, and that's also why I said no to Ben Affleck as Daredevil. I think it was either Daredevil or Elektra. I know Elektra had her own movie, but I think this is going to be her. Also, I don't know if they want Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck on the same set anyways.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, so that wraps it up. I guess the last thing, really, before we go and see this movie, and then you'll see our reactions, is there have been a lot of leaks about this movie, but Marvel may have calculated it. So maybe the set photo of Jennifer Garner that was leaked was fake, and she's not going to be in this movie. Marvel has done an excellent job of hiding cameos. They have not only pushed out fake set photos, apparently they have pushed out fake movie photos where it's people taking photos of the screen and being like, oh, they're in it, and it's fake. So there's a lot out here already, and so I think it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens. I would say the one thing that I really hope is that we do see some MCU X-Men, especially if we're starting the Mutant Saga.
Me too.
But otherwise, when we get back, we will talk about our reactions, our ratings, what we thought about it. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, like we haven't yet, this is kind of your cutoff point, because when we come back, I will give a spoiler warning, but this... Yeah. Anything after this point is a spoiler. But until then, let's see how this movie ends up.
Very excited.
All right, we are back. We just got back from our showing. And yeah, so this... I already did it, but this is a second spoiler warning. At this point, if you listen or watch past this part...
No return here.
It's your own fault, so... Oh well. I just want to get some general immediate thoughts about the movie.
It was a lot of fun. It was probably the funniest Marvel movie that I have seen. Maybe the Guardians might get in there, but it was absolutely hilarious. Cameos galore. They're like, "You want cameos? We're gonna send some out your way." I thought it was really good. It was. I feel like I'm still processing because it felt like an adrenaline rush the whole time. Deadpool Wolverine worked well together. I love how they got the two of them together. I feel like I'm still working through it, but very fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a little bit of what Multiverse of Madness should have been. 100%. I think they did the Multiverse of Madness thing, but did it better.
Yeah.
There's also, I agree, a lot of... this is a movie that if you haven't seen other films, it probably won't be as enjoyable for you. I think it's a very reference-heavy film, but not only in like characters and cameos and stuff. I would say it's kind of reference-heavy on just like being up to date in like pop culture. As Deadpool is. Like, there's a moment of... Elektra is played by Jennifer Garner, and so there's a moment where they were like, "Oh, they killed Daredevil," which was an obvious nod to Ben Affleck, and she said, "Oh, that's okay." So a joke about their divorce,
and Hugh Jackman too.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked they did some of the things that they did.
Yeah. So some references in that. But I agree, it was a very fun movie. I had a lot of fun. It was just a really good time. I think compared to some of the MCU at large, this is some of the best, I think, fight choreography, especially the opening scene.
All the scenes with his with Logan's corpse.
Yeah, I would say the opening scene rivals some of the best choreo that we've seen recently. I mean, you have very good choreo as well with like, I think the Marvels like trio fight scene's really good.
Yeah, the Guardians hallway scene.
Guardians
3.
Just Shang-Chi in general, but especially like the bus scene.
Yeah.
You have some good choreo recently, but I think this could be up there. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about maybe two or three moments that you really enjoyed.
Oh boy, goes into predictions a little bit, but the Hulk thing was annoying. I was so annoyed.
Yes.
Yeah, he was in it for just a few seconds, really.
Yeah,
I wasn't wrong.
Yeah, I think he was only in there for a second or two. I couldn't tell which Hulk it was, but
it seemed like Ruffalo's.
It seemed like Mark Ruffalo's. I was gearing up for it. When I saw it, I was like...
Yeah, when they were going through the universes.
But then there was a point when they were going through it so fast, and then as soon as he said, "Oh, you fight Hulk in this one," I was like, "Oh."
And then I heard his guttural
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, they're gonna cut away from this."
Yeah,
I could tell because just how they built it up.
Yeah, I really liked. Huge spoiler alert! If you're already here, then you're cooked.
Yeah.
The end with Wolverine, I really liked him putting on the mask. Mm-hmm. I thought I feared that it was gonna look like too like dress up-y, I guess.
It did. I think it looked goofy.
You did. But
I don't think it took me out.
I thought so too until his shirt tore off, and then I was like, it was a really good look for Wolverine. I think
it looked goofy, but I don't think it looked goofy in the sense of like
because he never wears a mask.
Yeah, like I can't take it out. Like, I'm not taken out of the movie. It was, like, goofy where it was like, okay, it's still cool that he's finally wearing it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. What about another moment? Henry Cavill's Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. I got cooked in this movie. Many of my wife's crushes are in this movie all at the same time, so it was, I don't blame her. There's some very attractive men in this movie, and they're all yeah, that was a big shock. I thought he played it really well for like the brief moments he's in there.
I could
kind of
see
channeled like the Justice League. Was it Justice League where he's like kind of gone rogue? He's woke.
Yeah, so that was the Justice League.
Yeah. So that it reminded me of that Superman
like
a little
negative
bit.
Superman.
I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun.
I could see him as the new MCU Wolverine. I think this is a John Krasinski moment where he has been in it and now he will not. It was like this is a popular fan cast.
It's so annoying because I wish I want him to come back in some way, but
yeah. So I think really the options are now either he is Wolverine in the MCU or he was a nice cameo to have and it was kind of fun and it was like we got to poke fun at DC a little bit. But I would say that he's probably done. I don't think he's gonna be in it anymore.
I think so too. A lot of people, it's like, okay, like we're gonna reference you, we're gonna give you your respect, and then boom, bye.
Yeah. Blake Lively was in the movie. We never got to see her face, but
she was Deadpool.
She was Lady Deadpool. I was looking for.
Okay, I thought she was gonna take her mask off, but nope.
So Blake Lively was Lady Deadpool.
That's cool.
She was credited as such. No Loki, which was quite a...
No, but heavy Loki influence.
Heavy TVA.
Heavy TVA, heavy timelines. A lot more than I expected, I think.
Yeah, I didn't... I expected the TVA to be kind of the B villain and Cassandra Nova to be the A villain. And I don't know necessarily that I would say it was flopped, but I think they were very even. And I think if you had to say one was the A villain, I would actually say it was Mr. Paradox in the TVA, which I didn't really think that was going to be the case.
Cassandra Nova seemed to operate more as the muscle of the villainy, I guess.
But, yeah. Another thing that I really enjoyed was at the end... kind of a cop-out because you think they got killed by Goliath, but that they kept everybody alive and brought X-23 back.
Yeah.
I would say that if they didn't do that moment, that this movie would have been rated a lot poorer from me, I would say. I think if they killed X-23, it would have been a bad look,
especially because for your prediction.
Yes, it would have been a bad look in that sense, but also they said they didn't want to touch Logan, and I think that destroys Logan. If they kill X-23, it destroys the legacy of Logan. So I'm glad that they brought her back. So I think that saved it a little bit for me, but she was good in it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest one for me was Chris Evans coming back.
Chris Evans.
This dude is a mind reader. I literally feel like he talked to Kevin Feige himself. Him coming back, obviously everyone thinks he's going to be Captain America. He does the flame on thing. All the websites were wrong. Nobody said you had to watch Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And they had some pretty good references. They even mentioned Reed Richards in passing, so...
I do, and I enjoyed that they kept him there for a long time.
Yeah. I thought he was just going to die, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Here we go with another cameo.
But I think it was a good usage of him. I would say that I didn't think that was the fight that he was going to be a part of. But he kind of got murked twice. He got... Pyro absorbed his stuff. Yeah. And then he got murked by Cassandra
Which is
Nova.
a really cool play on between, two of the, fire heroes. Or villains.
Yeah, it was pretty... I doubted myself for a second because they intentionally made him look like Captain America with a little bit of red sticking out from under his, cloak.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's playing like an old version of Captain America. But, no, they...
Nope.
They did Johnny Storm. He flamed up. I think it's also a nice little teaser for what they can do between both Chris Evans, Johnny Storm, and actually, I feel like a breakout star here in Channing Tatum's Gambit.
Super funny.
Yeah, I think those two were like sneak peeks of like, this is what we can do with these characters now, and it was kind of it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, I couldn't get on board with the Channing Tatum thing. I thought it was hilarious, but like the character himself, because I think Channing Tatum has been painted as like The Rock in my head as terms of like an actor. It's like, okay, here, like he's like the like stereotypical like good looking muscle guy, like maybe not like the best actor, but you know they bring in him because he's like eye candy sort of a thing. So that's how he's been depicted for me over the years with his movies. So he's a little bit hard for me to grab onto, I guess.
Yeah, I would say it was about a 10% chance for me if you would have asked me whether or not Channing Tatum was in this movie. I would have said 10 to 5, maybe 5-10% chance. But I do really enjoy that he was in it. I think it's a nice way to kind of give Channing Tatum what he's been trying to do, because he's wanted to play this character for so long.
Got it.
And he finally got to do it. And I think it's a fun way, but they also didn't shy away from that. There were so many times where it was like, I feel like I was born in the void because he never got his movie made. Or,
Yeah.
Or there was another reference to it. Oh, I think they said that his world never met him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was shots at it, so I thought they played it really well. That was good. Also, the void in general was pretty good. I think you got some like old-timey Avengers references. You had the old Captain America shield.
Yep.
That one.
I really thought Tony was going to show up for a second.
Yeah. You had the old Thor helmet with the wings, which was nice. We got a Stan Lee cameo.
We did.
Stan Lee cameo, which was fun.
Wait, which one?
The one on the bus.
Yes, Stanley Steamer.
Yeah, so Stan Lee
that was pretty fun.
Was an ad on the bus, which I think that's a nice way to continue to honor that. But overall, I think it was good.
I think my overall thoughts on what I think about the movie is not top 5 or anything for me. It was super fun. This movie felt like a transition movie for me. Like, it felt like not so much a movie on its own, so much as a transitioning from we're going to pay respect to everything that came before.
Which you get in kind of the post-credits.
Yeah, and throughout the movie, like nods to all the prior superheroes with like Blade and Elektra. You had Human Torch coming back. You had many, or if not like most of the villains from the original X-Men franchise, like helping Cassandra Nova. All of that felt like, even though Fox got absolutely dragged in this movie, it felt like a respect to it and like a transition to whatever they're doing next. Also very meta in this movie. More than any other movie before. It was like Marvel was literally scrolling through Twitter and they're like, okay, what do people think? Let's use it in the movie. Yeah.
It was very interesting in that sense. I can see people being disappointed by this movie.
Yeah.
If you're somebody who really wanted the Hulk fight, you're going to be disappointed. I actually do think that Cassandra Nova as a villain wasn't the greatest. Like, I don't think the villain or the story was like top tier of Marvel. There was a lot of like, this is a movie that I think hinges a lot on fan service. So if you don't get that, I could see you being disappointed by it. I also think that if you went in and really wanted the X-Men, like MCU X-Men to be introduced, you could be disappointed.
References, but no, like...
But overall, it was really fun. The biggest question I have coming out of this movie is Deadpool coming to the MCU?
Yeah.
So there was a moment that was really confusing for me, and maybe I just didn't understand it. Is Deadpool was in the in his universe. He talks to Happy Hogan in the 616 universe and then goes back to his own universe.
Yeah, and has an awareness of every hero he comes across.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't not know anybody.
Which, you can explain the, like, knowing the heroes through just the fourth wall breaking. But I didn't totally comprehend how he got from his universe to 616 and then back.
Yeah.
So that was a little confusing for me. And by the end of the movie, Wolverine traveled from his universe to Deadpool's. So there is a Wolverine that's alive in Deadpool's universe again. So
Yeah.
they have double there. I mean, he could go back at any point. But also, Deadpool never goes to the MCU universe. So we have a little bit of a Venom situation where...
I thought he did. With the happy...
Yeah, he did, but he went back home.
Oh, yeah. He's not in our universe.
It's where he goes to the Marvel universe and then goes back to his own, like Venom did in some post-credit scenes. So that's still something that if Deadpool is ever to be brought into the MCU, that still needs to be done and answered, which, I don't know, it's a little confusing of a choice. So I guess we'll see what they do there.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting thing for me.
For sure.
So overall, did the movie, would you say it lived up to your expectations?
I don't think it got as high as I thought it might have. Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't think it got to where I expected it, which could be some fault of my own and the general community, but I don't think it quite got there.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think it got to the level of where I was because I was most hyped movie since Endgame for me, but I would say that doesn't mean it was bad or disappointing. Like, I had super high expectations for it. Obviously, I predicted that like some MCU X-Men were going to come in, and so I think it was it's a fault of my own speculations and predictions. So I wouldn't say that it disappoints for a Deadpool movie. Like, if I went in without all these expectations, I think it meets that. And I would actually say it exceeds that because I think the action is better. I think the humor is better. A lot is better than the previous Deadpool movies. So I think if you go in expecting an improved Deadpool movie, I would say it meets expectations. I think if you're expecting it to change the landscape of the MCU, you might be disappointed. But where does this land in the MCU for you?
Oh, I feel like I gotta probably revisit that at some point. Are we doing like ratings or like out of 10 or?
Yeah, you can rate out of 10 and see.
I probably would give it like an 8 because it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it was fun from beginning to end, which I could appreciate. But to get to like that upper like 9, 10, I feel like I just want a more cohesive, tighter story.
Yeah.
It was, like you said, a lot of fan service. Oh, so I obviously know all the stuff that came before it. I've watched all the stuff, so I get it. For somebody that didn't, there could be a lot of holes, like missed references and stuff. So I would probably say it's not in my top 10. I don't know where it lies behind that.
Yeah. I would say I would agree, an 8 out of 10, and it would probably end up being around 14 or 15 for me in terms of the MCU, which I would say, so that's like the top third of what, you know, the entirety of the MCU, and I think that's a fair spot for it. I enjoyed it. I think it was good. I think it was just like overall just a really fun movie. I don't think it gets to like, oh, it's one of the best MCU movies ever, but it is really fun. It's a lot of it's just a good time. You go in and you just have a good time and you laugh. And
it's fan service on fan service for sure.
So I think that's kind of where I land. But yeah, so I think that's, unless you have any final thoughts, that's kind of where we're going to end it off.
I just want to say the soundtrack was amazing.
Okay.
Greatest Showman was a letdown for me. I was very disappointed when it switched right to the next song, and I said, no way. But yeah, great songs throughout the movie. I
agree, and they used it really well.
Yeah.
Overall, we got some of our predictions correct. We got some wrong.
Can you just, for my predictions, just put up the wasted GTA thing for all 9?
Yeah. But overall, a really fun time. Recommend you go see the movie.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be something that I think the theater experience is really going to enhance for you.
Yeah, box office will probably break the rated R Highest
It'll
grossing.
probably pass $1 billion if I had to guess.
Yeah. But yeah, super fun time.
Well, our next adventure is going to be talking about everything that happens in Hall H on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe we'll talk a little bit about what happens today, because in the midst of recording this right now, everyone who went and saw the Comic-Con screening is getting to hear from Hugh Jackman, Sean Levy, Kevin Feige,
Jealous.
and Ryan Reynolds. So I'm sure we'll get some report back. I know somebody who is actually in Hall H right now who watched the movie with the actors, so maybe I can get some insight from him. But otherwise, we will be back with some Comic-Con news, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot more knowledge about the future of the MCU, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Peace out.